Hello, my name is Kevin Rogers, and I'm an attorney in Boise, Idaho. And right now, I'm working on a civil protection order. And the name of this video is How to Change Custody in Less Than 5 Minutes Without Using the Attorneys or having to go through any kind of child custody proceedings all by yourself. Of course, I'm talking about this so-called Civil Protection Order in Idaho, Idaho Code Section 396304 ETSEC. This law is a check your box law. This law allows a person who is wanting a protection order to go into the courthouse, ask for the petition. She'll be given a petition almost secretly and privately. She'll then sit down, fill out that order or that petition, and she can get some help if she needs it. It asks the protected persons listed on the first page of this order. One box says petitioner, one box says minor family members, another box says family or other household members. It also has a box that says there are no exceptions to this order, or there are certain exceptions to this order. And then it says the respondent, the person served with this order, shall not, and this is important, even if invited by the protected persons, knowingly remain within 1,000 feet of the protected person, or go within 1,000 feet of the protected person's residence, which used to be your residence. Officers will serve this order on typically the husband at his work or at his home or anywhere else. They'll give him approximately, there's no provision in the law which says that officers need to give him a certain amount of time or no time. And they will give him enough time that he can grab his undergarments and a couple of pairs of slacks and some shoes, maybe a couple of wrenches for his work. And then they will cause him to have to drive away from the house. And in many cases, this will be the last time he can see that house, his garage, anything in it, for anywhere up to a year, because this pernicious order goes from immediate and then must be renewed within 14 days. And at 14 days at that hearing, if the father can't convince the judge that this did not happen, whatever she alleges, then the court has the discretion to order that this stay away order last for a year. At the year, the petitioner, typically mother, female, can ask the court to reissue this for another year. So you can't tell me that this law isn't a life changer, because it is. A female knowing about this, having been told about this by someone else, she can use this as a shield to protect her and her children. But she can also get back at her husband for something he did. I've talked to many women who say, I had no idea it was going to keep him from my children. I had no idea that it was going to destroy our family. But this law destroys families. This law needs to be rescinded. Typically, at the 14-day period, that first hearing, the only words to come from the judge, whose job it is to provide due process and equal protection under the law to this man, will look at the woman, who in 14 days is probably still mad, and simply say, do you want this order to continue? Are you still afraid? And if she says yes, then not only for that 2-week period has the father not been able to see his children, the judge can schedule a hearing, and typically that hearing will be set for that day, sometimes after that. It lists every child of the two parties, so he can't see any of his children. The only way, and it says this, the only way that this order can be changed is through the courts, period. So he would have to file a motion to modify this so-called civil protection order. He is presumed to have committed a crime. He is presumed to be guilty. He is presumed to be an abuser. The order also says, under Idaho Code 18-304, you can't own or possess a gun. So if you happen to be a hunter or you're a gun enthusiast, forget it. If you have a gun in your car and you get pulled over for speeding and there's an order of protection out there, you're going to be arrested. This is ridiculous. This is a knee-jerk reaction to an incident that occurred in Idaho more than 20 years ago. The Idaho legislature has created this law. It provides no due process to the husband. People will disagree with me that it does not provide due process, but you tell me how much due process the man gets when he is immediately removed from his home and he must immediately be wealthy enough to fund a new apartment. And at that first hearing, a judge who is politically minded and doesn't dare make a mistake would tend to sign any extension order if the protected person merely says, I'm still afraid. I'm afraid he'll come after me. He's threatened to hurt me, or he's hurt my children. Whether that or those allegations are true or not, the man will be without his children, and this pernicious law will keep him, and effectively, just as well as any modified custody order could, in fact, better, change custody between mom and dad. Now, I am not advocating for mom or dad, because I have seen women who have been abused, according to them, and credibly so, in my opinion. And I've seen this law help them get back on their feet and get away from an abusive man. I've also seen this law used as a shield, and effectively so that way. But I have more often, sadly, seen this law used as the sharpest dagger when put into a vindictive, angry wife's hand, can be used so effectively to alienate the children from their father. By the time the father gets to see his children unsupervised, it'll be a year. During that first year that he is without his children, the only custody he will have is supervised. Of course, he's got to pay for this too. And I've seen men who I do not believe deserve this struggle, cry, get frustrated by this awful, pernicious, unconstitutional law. I call on anybody who's been a victim of this law to petition the Idaho legislature to rescind this unconstitutional, pernicious, awful, life-changing law. That's all I have to say about this. It's called a civil protection order, and there is nothing civil about it. The reason I'm making this film is because it's being used not as a shield, but as a dagger and a weapon, and a most effective weapon it is, because it can allow a woman scorned to take the children away from the husband just like that. And this is Kevin Rogers, attorney at law,